Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please make your way through the garden and come and take your seats so we can start the proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, please come through the garden, make your way to the tables and take your seats. Thank you.
Getting late, I'm making my way over to my favorite place. I gotta get my body moving, shake the stress away. I wasn't looking for nobody when you look my way. Possible count. Can't believe it's over. I watched the whole thing fall, and I never saw the writing that was on the wall. If I'd only knew the days were slipping past, that the good things never last, that you were crying. Summer turned to winter, and the snow it turned to rain. Then the rain turned into tears upon your face. I hardly recognize the girl you are today. And God, I hope it's not too late. It's not too late. 'Cause you are not alone. I'm always there with you, and we'll get lost together till the light comes pouring through. 'Cause when you feel like you're done and the darkness has won, and babe, you're not lost. And when your world's crashing down and you can't bear the thought, I said, babe, you're not lost. Life can show no mercy, it can tear your soul apart. It can make you feel like you're gone crazy, but you're not. And things have seemed to change. There's one thing that's still the same. In my heart you have remained, and we can fly, fly, fly away. 'Cause you are not alone, and I am there with you, and we'll get lost together until the light comes pouring through. 'Cause when you feel like you're done and the darkness has won, and babe, you're not lost. And the world's crashing down and you can't bear to cross. I said, baby, you're not lost. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please start taking your seats, finding your space with your table, and please start taking your seats so we can start the formalities. Thank you.
I said, baby, you're not lost. wanted a simple touch, one night to push and scream, and then relief. 10 days of perfect tears, the colors red and blue. We had a promise made, we were in love. To call for hands of above, to lean on, wouldn't be good enough for me, love. To call for hands of above, to lean on, wouldn't be good enough. And you
Thank you, please, ladies and gentlemen. Come in and grab your seats. Please, because we do need to start this promptly, because we will be live streaming elsewhere right around the country. Please come in and take your seats, and there will be plenty of time for you to network afterwards. Thank you. People up the back, I can actually see you. You're not invisible. Please take your seats so we can start. That would be wonderful. Thank you very, very much. Come on in, ladies. Come and find your seats. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Made you mad for something I might have said. Please don't forget my past.
My life is brilliant. My life is brilliant. My love is pure. I saw an angel, of that I'm sure. She smiled at me on the subway. She was with another man. But I won't lose no sleep on that, 'cause I've got a plan. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true.
Thank you. If I can have your attention, please. I know in some places before COVID you'd be all looking around ready to kiss or watch someone kiss, right? We're not here for a wedding though. We are, of course, here for the amazing 2021 South Australian Science Excellence and Innovation Awards. Could you please be upstanding for Her Excellency the Honourable Frances Adamson, Governor of South Australia, and Mr Rod Bunton. be seated. Well, my name is Ali Clark from ABC Radio Adelaide, and it's wonderful to be back here with you all. Now, before I do go on, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're meeting on, and I would also like to pay my respect to elders past and present. Well, if you can believe it, we are in our 17th round of these SA Science Excellence and Innovation Awards, and it was only the start of this year that we all met at the Botanic Gardens. It's wonderful to be back with you, and it's an absolute privilege, and this is by far my favourite event to do in the entire year, to hear some incredible stories and about the research that so many of you are doing and how you're changing our communities. After the success of those awards, and just so you know, we laughed and we cried. There was a wedding proposal, all right? So you've got a lot to live up to tonight, so good luck to you all. Now, obviously, 2021 has really continued to reinforce the importance of science and innovation to our lives. I mean, as we try to live what apparently is this now COVID normal life. And even tonight, of course, we are following all COVID safe protocols. So you've even got your own little sanitizer there in front of you. Don't drink it. I swear it is sanitizer. Head out for Prohibition Gin, all right? Tastes better, I promise. Hello to the team that are here there. Now, I would like to acknowledge Her Excellency the Honourable Frances Adamson, who is with us, the Governor of South Australia, also Mr Rod Bunton, welcome. We have the Honourable David Pisoni, Minister for Innovation and Skills. Dr Susan Close, MP, is here, Deputy Leader of the ALP. Professor Caroline McMillan is the Chief Scientist for South Australia and also will be your host for this evening. Mr Andrew Nunn, South Australia's Chief Entrepreneur, and Mr Adam Reid, Chief Executive Department for Innovation and Skills, welcome. Of course, something like this and these incredible awards couldn't happen without some wonderful support. And our platinum sponsors, the Commonwealth Bank and Telstra, they're sponsoring the STEM Educator of the Year Awards, as well as Novatech, they're sponsoring the Innovator of the Year Award. Our gold sponsor is the University of Adelaide. Our silver sponsors are the CSIRO, the Department of Defence, Flinders University, SaberNet, and the University of South Australia. I'd also like to thank our supporting sponsors, Compostable Alternatives, which is a subsidiary of Mr Rye, Cooper's Brewery, the Department of Education with Advanced Technology Program, Lobethal Road, NTP Connect, Prohibition Gin, and Stephen de Horst Chocolatier. So, to all of them, we thank you. Please put your hands together to acknowledge the wonderful help they bring. Okay, I think I said this last time we met. Of course, none of this really matters or happens, apparently, if it's not on social media. Now, we actually got trending last year, so I want to see that happen again. You're not going to get in trouble if you've got your phone out, I promise, that it's going to be okay. But we need you to join the conversation tonight because this is how we amplify the incredible work that the finalists and winners have been doing here in South Australia this year. So you can get to us on Twitter, and that's at @SAChiefSci. Okay, it's all up there for you. And then use that hashtag SA Science Awards. You can like the Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/Department Innov Skills. And then you can view all the photos of the celebration. You can check that out later on as well, okay? But yes, we did get SA Science Awards a trending hashtag. I had to be explained of what that meant, but in the meantime, make sure you do. And I love getting your messages while I'm up here, and I realise that every third slide I actually blend into the background. That was absolutely by luck, okay, not by good design. So yeah, let's use the power of social media to really amplify your incredible work. Of course, we're here and we're lucky to be here. This is also being live streamed right around the country, right around the world. So to everybody that might be watching at home or having viewing parties or wherever you might be, welcome. We wish you could be here, but you know, we get the party. You have your own, okay? You don't have to wear high heels, so that's a great thing as well. All right, so why are we here? Well, we're here to celebrate the incredible achievements and contributions from some of our state's best scientists, innovators, researchers and educators. It's your hard work and dedication that is needed and has led you to being recognised tonight. South Australia has a proud history of scientific and technological innovation, and the calibre of our scientists and educators and innovators is reflected in the number of nominations we've received over the past 14 years. So a total of 6 awards will be presented this evening, including the leading categories, which is the South Australian Scientist of the Year and the inaugural Innovator of the Year. We'll also recognise the winners of the South Australia Tall Poppies of the Year and the Unsung Hero Awards, and they were recently presented just a little bit earlier this month. So congratulations right from the start to all of the finalists for the incredible, significant contributions you are making both locally as well as internationally, and your achievements and talent and drive will ensure South Australia's continued success and prosperity. So well done to all of you. I would now, though, like to welcome the Honourable David Pisoni, Minister for Innovation and Skills, and I believe Mr Pisoni had the chance to meet all the finalists just a little bit early this month, and he's here tonight to officially welcome you all here to this awards celebration.
Thank you so much indeed, Ali. First of all, may I acknowledge Her Excellency, the Honourable Frances Adamson AC, Governor of South Australia, Mr Rod Bunton, the Honourable Dr Susan Close MP, Professor Caroline McMillan, AO, our Chief Scientist here in South Australia, and Andrew Nunn, our Chief Entrepreneur here in South Australia. And of course, our sponsors, and we love our sponsors, and it's, I think it's a reflection of how much more interest there is in science and research by industry in South Australia in recent years that we have a good number of sponsors for this event. And of course our finalists, colleagues and families. I acknowledge the Kaurna people as the traditional owners of land we meet on today, and we respect their spiritual relationship. Well, good evening and welcome, and thank you for joining us either here in person or online for South Australia's premier celebration of science, the 2021 South Australian Science Excellence and Innovation Awards. The Tonsley Innovation District is a fitting location for this award ceremony. It is a magnificent example of a transforming economy. Once a pillar of the old industrial revolution, now a showcase of South Australia's new and growing industries, clean tech and renewable energy, health and medical science, mining and energy, automation and Industry 4.0. Last year's Innovator of the Year was Tonsley-based MicroX for their lightweight X-ray devices. Since then, MicroX has been exploring further applications of their technology, including airport security and a partnership with Australian Stroke Alliance to pilot portable CT scanners for emergency vehicles. An amazing story. The wonderful thing about innovation districts such as Tonsley, Lot 14, Adelaide Biomed City, Technology Park in Edinburgh is how they encourage collaboration, investment and new thinking across the state. The Science Excellent Innovation Awards, now in their 17th year, celebrate the success of our quiet but big achievers. Whether your work takes place in an innovation district, a lab, an office, a classroom, a coffee shop or on your kitchen table, as finalists for these prestigious awards, your work has been acknowledged as having potential to impact the world. By celebrating and showcasing your work, young South Australians become aware of and are inspired into a STEM career. We show the state, we show the nation, we show the world some of the top tier STEM research, education, innovation happening right here in South Australia. And we celebrate your achievements. The challenges we've faced over the past year and a half demonstrate why science has never been more important. In addition to tackling pandemics, scientific research and R&D are developing solutions to many pressing challenges. Projects recently funded by the Marshall Government through the Research Innovation Fund are examples of this, and they include a Centra Therapeutics awarded $700,000 for clinical trials of an innovative drug to treat brain and other cancers. Three Peaks Medical received $664,000 to test their mid-tech device, an expandable sheath designed to reduce vascular complications during surgical procedures. And Plasma Shield, $550,000 to trial their air biodecontamination service to reduce airborne transmission of disease. And South Australian businesses are encouraged to translate our incredible research into successful economic outcomes for South Australia. That's why this year the Marshall Government committed $3 million to appoint external innovation and translation intermediary at Adelaide Biomed City, tasked to grow the health and medical industry sector here in South Australia. And the Marshall Government has committed $1 million towards a new SA Innovation Challenge to harness South Australia's research capability to deliver new to-world solutions that meet market demand. The first challenge, Augmenting Ability, was launched in March. Industry will partner with research organisations to develop a product or service that will help users improve sensory, physical and cognitive abilities to enable them to live with more independence and dignity. I look forward to sharing more of these initiatives as the project progresses. And it was wonderful to meet many of you at the finalist certificate presentation at Lot 14 earlier in the month. Each finalist represents an incredible body of work. Congratulations on your achievements. And while we work towards seeing the looking to seeing the 2021 SA Science Excellence and Innovation Awards winners crowned, I acknowledge that every one of you in this room this evening play a vital role in improving the lives and livelihoods of South Australians. So congratulations and please enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. And thank you to Sarah, Jacqueline. Dr. Dasari must be sitting over here looking at the photos you're putting up on Twitter. Hello, nice to see you again. Get onto Twitter and join the conversation. Sandra, welcome. And Kerry Wilkinson, I don't know who or where you are, but I want to meet you because your handle is @WineChemist, and that sounds like fun. Hello. Great, I'll come and see you a little bit later on. Okay, now though, I would like to welcome to the stage Professor Caroline McMillan, the Chief Scientist for South Australia.
Well, good evening in this wonderful, wonderful location. Firstly, I would wish to acknowledge Her Excellency, the Honourable Frances Adamson AC, and Mr. Rod Bunton, our Minister for Innovation and Skills, the Honourable David Pisoni, such a supporter of innovation, new technologies, and the development of the next generation of skills and STEM workforce for this state. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Susan Close, MP, Deputy Leader of the ALP and co-convener of Science Meets Parliament. A very warm welcome to distinguished leaders from across industry, research and the community. Welcome to a night of celebration of all things excellence, collaboration and innovation, translation and education in STEM. So you will notice we have replaced the classical quartet with the Symphony of Pipes and the wind through the wonderful Tonsley orchestral background. What a wonderful, wonderful way to have these awards celebrated, but in such an environment that represents, as the Minister has said, the history of traditional manufacturing, a renaissance, and that emergence as an innovation district. Now, this week, I had the privilege of contributing to a panel discussion in the heartland of Adelaide, hosted by AmCham, our American Chamber of Commerce, in Australia, which gave me some food for thought. The topic under discussion was Future Adelaide, a city designed for life. And the panel reflected on the importance of a green city in a state where services, communities, and people connect through smart technologies, and where emerging current data show that there has been a strong net increase in the numbers of highly skilled, talented young professionals seeking to build a life in our state. More young professionals are coming than leaving to this state. Now, listening to the panel discussion and reflecting on that data and listening to the commentary around the room, it was clear there is a growing confidence in this state, a state that has demonstrated its willingness to back big initiatives which focus on building a sustainable future. Now, just one example of many would be the bold determination shown back in 2018 for SA to compete for and ultimately succeed in hosting the national headquarters of the SmartSat Cooperative Research Centre program. Now, the work of the CRC to harness connectivity between space and Earth, and then back from Earth to space, has subsequently led to work on how to improve our ways of combating bushfires and other natural disasters, better environmental monitoring and water management, and enabling the monitoring of remote operations in key agriculture and mining working enterprises located in challenging environments in regional South Australia. Now, at this point, I give a shout out to all those of you from the SmartSat CIC here tonight, and also to Leanna Reid, the Chief Scientist of South Australia, who was at the heart of the mission to achieve the landing of that smart satellite CRC. Now, during the week, I reflected on the dynamism of that panel discussion and on other examples of bold decisions made and those in train. And it became clear, it became something that I reflected on, that South Australia has arrived at an inflection point. That part of the J-curve where after some time spent travelling along a long runway where the direction or endpoint might not be clear, you arrive at a takeoff point where the upward trajectory rapidly increases, and the journey is now about realising the opportunities created across many years of combined leadership which have placed the state in exactly the right position at the right time. Chance, as always, favours the prepared. Now, given we have, as the rest of the world has, faced the toughest of battles with a spiky viral adversary, that we have, as a community, all shared a heavy burden as we have foregone life as normal, endeavouring to keep ourselves, our families, and our neighbours safe. Predicting an optimistic view of the future may appear to be a brave statement of hope than one of substance. But I think that tonight of all nights, is one in which we can allow optimism in the casting of a dynamic future for our state. One signal we might take note of tonight is that in this toughest of years, as the Minister has said, we have had the most generous support from the most number of sponsors than we have ever had across the life of these awards. We acknowledge those leaders from our sponsoring and supporting institutions and organisations, many of whom are with us tonight, who represent leadership characterised by foresight, informed as always by good insight, and the insight that something is happening in South Australia. Now, that something has its origins in the calibre of the outcomes generated by our research community on the world stage. It is worth noting, and I think I'm allowed to spruik some good evidence, that if South Australia was a country in the OECD, our performance for research excellence would rank us in the top quartile of most STEM fields, and that in fact we would place among the top 3 performers fairly frequently, and indeed in a significant number of instances, South Australia performs above the top performing nation of the OECD. This is a resource when combined with the remarkable strengths in those frontier technologies designated only last week as national critical technologies, allows a powerful value proposition for our partners. AI, biomanufacturing, synthetic biology, biofuels, hydrogen production, storage and transport, nuclear medicine, satellites, all of which are leading critical technologies that South Australia has already seen invested and are planning big initiatives in. And of course, the quantum of everything. I was asked actually the other day whether I loved quantum, because I keep talking about it. And I had to say that as a scientist, I love anything I don't understand. So, I think importantly, that excellence, that convergence of strength in fields and utterly that technical and technology base provides our partners in small and large businesses, the environment, health and industry sectors at large, with opportunities to build competitive advantage, deliver new health solutions and support environmental sustainability and our circular economy. This is so critical in the context of a state which has a clear determination to achieve 100% net renewable energy generation by 2030 and net zero emissions by 2050. As a community, we need every clever weapon in the face of global warming, and harnessing cutting-edge research, innovation, technology capability to achieve our targets will also ensure that every product that leaves SA, whether it is our food and wine, hunter frigates, critical minerals, or even our Hollywood movies made right here in South Australia, will have an advantage in a world seeking to lower the impact of carbon. And so, the opportunities that convergence of technologies, convergence of fields, is built on collaboration. Collaboration is at the heart of pulling innovation through to translate into a supply chain, to translate into delivering the environmental sustainability targets, and in ensuring that South Australia remains a place where health solutions to major global health problems come from this state right here. So what we are faced with is the Australian Achilles heel. We too, in South Australia, have to reach out in a connected state to activate and build collaboration. And as the Minister has said, the innovation districts that have been beautifully constructed are the base for the activation of collaboration. The second limiter, which I just want to make, is of course that our trajectory will not be sustainable without ensuring sustainable, enduring opportunities are provided throughout the working life course for talented young and less young people from diverse backgrounds to see themselves in careers across the creative arts, STEM, and industry sector. In South Australia, we are faced with something that may limit our trajectory unless we give deep thought to how to ensure that the future of the state of STEM and innovation is absolutely in view for those in that next generation. And against that call out, I would like to champion and support those educators here tonight, the finalists in those education categories, without whom we would not be able to envisage continuing on this remarkable trajectory. Thank you very much.
Well, I think Professor McMillan finished the way that we're about to start the awards. She was giving a shout out to the educators, so let's start there. Our first awards tonight are for the STEM Educator of the Year, and it's sponsored by the Commonwealth Bank and Telstra. Now, this award recognises passionate teachers who are critical to successful science, technology, engineering and mathematics education, as well as developing students' knowledge and ability in STEM. And there are two subcategories for this award, school teaching and tertiary teaching. So, to present the STEM Educator of the Year Primary or Secondary School Teaching Award, please welcome Sabina Streetfield. She's a Manager of Technology Skills Pipeline and Strategy from the Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
Welcome all. It's a privilege to be here tonight with some of Adelaide and South Australia's finest and brightest minds. It's a privilege to be here and sponsor the event tonight with Telstra, our partner. We partner with Telstra on a number of events and projects, including Girls in STEM, which aims to encourage girls and young students to become inspired and interested in STEM and the sciences. It's a privilege to be here tonight, as I said, and present the STEM Educator of the Year Award.
So, without further ado, let's meet your finalists.
In the last 12 months, I've been trying to bring enterprise in a little bit more, looking at how students can be exposed to like new technologies, automation, robotics and things like that, but in a slightly different light. So that's where the Robot Garden project kind of came in. So bringing an artist in, connecting with science and art and kind of bringing it all in and having students see automation a little bit different. Bringing in the arts, we go back centuries and centuries and look at the arts. They were always part of the sciences. I think bringing back those into the STEM disciplines is an important aspect to have. In the arts, students seem to just run wild a little bit more, and there's no reason why that running wild can't happen in other disciplines like your science and your technologies. So I think having students go out or have enterprise coming in and then being able to see that real world link is kind of what makes the enterprise aspect and the outcomes a little bit more real for them. My philosophy is to have fun, take some risks, be guided by the curriculum but don't be handcuffed by the curriculum, and putting a lot of trust in the students. It's easy for me to think that I'm the expert and I know everything and everything that I do is the right way to do things, and not really give students the opportunity to have a voice in terms of what they want to learn or how they want to learn. I think shifting that around a little bit and giving the students a bit more freedom to have some input and let them take risks is probably my main philosophy, treating students as adults.
Schools, primarily with a high non-English speaking background, these kids are just as talented and just as capable as anyone, and that they deserve the same opportunities. One of my big driving goals is to provide those opportunities through things like access to robotics competitions and other STEM programs, so they can engage with that and they can see that that's a viable future for them, and that any of the barriers that they have in their lives can be worked around. Everyone is different, so no one is different. Disadvantaged schools are where kids are more accepting of each other, and they all know that everyone's got a different story, everyone's got a different background, and that's a powerful thing, and you can use that to help solve problems and look at STEM-based learning in a new light. STEM can be a bit of a Trojan horse for student agency, which is probably more important. Student agency is the whole idea that students can take charge of their own learning, and that will help them, I suppose, in deciding their future later on, because they'll be more able to identify what they're passionate about and what they want to, where they want to make a difference in the world. Robotics for robotics' sake is not what I am interested in. I'm interested about what it enables. It enables kids to work together, enables kids to work on something meaningful, and they get a sense of pride and accomplishment when they feel like they've exceeded expectations, you know, and that's what's been important about going to competitions, is they then see the other kids and say, we're as good as them. My driving force around teaching is making a difference for others, empowering others, and now in leadership that's sometimes just as much about empowering other teachers as well, but I think it's always about giving kids opportunities and making a difference. You know, I want to be in a place where I've made a difference that if it wasn't for me, that a certain opportunity might not exist.
I did the science degree because I loved science, but I really love being an educator. STEM gives students the tools and the power to question, to not just accept information for what it is, but to ask, why is that the case, and can I do something about this? It allows them to be critical thinkers. It develops them into creative problem solvers, and they're the type of citizens that we need. Science is a journey. We don't have all the answers, and actually they're going to have a role in giving us the answers. As a middle school maths and science teacher, I'm constantly asked, when am I ever going to use this? Why are we learning that? It's making sure that our students see the relevance, and it's not about seeing the relevance in their science lessons, it's going to help them in their other curricular areas, and they need to understand that we're not a silo discipline. People ask me, oh, well, is it STEAM or is it STEM? And it's cross-curricular, you know. I don't think the acronym matters. We use geography and PE and English. We've done an English and science task recently, so I think sometimes we can also get a little bit caught up in the acronym, and actually it's just, you know, how can we create a really cool learning opportunity for the kids?
The winner of the STEM Educator of the Year for Primary or Secondary School Teaching Award is Mr. Graham Wegner.
Congratulations, Mr. Wegner. Assistant Principal in STEM, he's worked very hard to create and nurture the STEM programs at the Prospect North Primary School. And working with teachers, he's designed top quality units of STEM learning and really connected with the multicultural community where parents are keen for their children to participate in STEM activities. Now, he's now the Deputy Principal at Hampstead Primary School. Please come over here, and come on, bring all your goods. Yeah, over you come. And I've got to ask this lady in the red jacket, is she a wife or partner? No? Oh, she looked very proud of you. That got awkward, didn't it? Oh, that's your wife? Well, sir, she is very proud of him, as she should be. That's all right. That's fine. We had a marriage proposal last one. Maybe, no. Okay, here we go. Here, I'll take this one.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Wow, thank you. I did say to a few other people before, when I saw the photo of everyone at the awards, when earlier when we gave out the certificates, I said, and I saw the photo of her, and I said, I must be probably the dumbest person in the room, because look at all that other talent and that, and you know, I just work with kids, but I think the thing that motivates me most is making a difference for others, and particularly those kids who, if I don't do something, they might not get a chance. So, and you just don't know where the next person's from. You know, like I suppose one example is a girl who started my robotics program from Vietnamese background, you know, non-English speaking, you know, not really that well, and she did 3 years in my robotics team, and she got to nominated to become an SA Young Leaders Award, and she got to be a finalist. So I'd like to think that without my effort, those sort of opportunities perhaps open up those pathways for those kids. So this is a real honour. I'm really surprised. So, but thank you very much.
So now we move to the STEM Educator of the Year for a University or RTO Teaching Awards. So now it's the turn of Eva Yakomis, the Delivery Operations Manager for Telstra, to make the announcement.
Thank you. Tonight it's a great pleasure to be here representing Telstra, and our partner Commonwealth Bank. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of the finalists tonight. Telstra and Commonwealth Bank, as Sabina mentioned, have partnered on many initiatives to further STEM engagement through different levels of education and to build a future workforce. Telstra seeks to be a desirable employer for many STEM graduates, and with a portfolio of joint ventures now reaching into AI, quantum computing and green energy, we've moved beyond traditional telecommunications. And with that, I'm really looking forward to presenting the STEM Educator of the Year for the university sector. Thank you.
So here are the finalists.
So I'm a research fellow at the University of Adelaide. I have a much more sort of industry focus because I worked with industry before I came back to university. I run this program called the Nexus course, which is for students from all around the country, and we bring them to Adelaide and do a 3-week summer school and a whole range of activities to try and fill that gap between what they learn at uni and what the minerals industry is after in its graduates. A lot of the beaches in the UK where I went as a kid had stones on them, like stony beaches, and I used to quite like skimming the stones over the waves, and every now and then you'd pick one up and it'd have a fossil in it, and I was like, oh, I'll keep that one. And I think that probably got me into it, and then learning about physical processes, mountain building, why there's sand on the beach, all those things kind of really sparked my interest. And then with economic geology, you get a lot of, well, just like this one in front of me, you get a lot of very colourful minerals, and I guess I was always fascinated by why is that one blue, why is that one shiny. So for a student of geoscience graduating at the moment, there's a large variety of roles they can go into, be that exploration geology, mining geology. There's a real need as we move forward with our clean energy and electrification of our society. We need more copper, we need more nickel, we need more lithium. And you have to mine that, and Australia is very well positioned to make the most of that.
Babies are born curious. And I think for budding scientists, it's about never losing that curiosity. So as a young person, I was curious about everything. I love science, I love math, but I also love to explore materials and art, and from charcoal to pastels to paint. My path to science was really never losing the curiosity, not looking at things from a one discipline perspective, but trying to understand a range of disciplines and seeing the value that different perspectives can bring. We don't define the problem as a mechanical problem or electrical problem or biomedical engineering problem. It's just a problem, and then we have to look at it from different angles. Innovation is about teams and understanding what others in the team can bring. You have your toolkit, they have theirs, and solving a problem is about having that curiosity in terms of what benefit they bring, as well as understanding and being confident in what you bring as well. A culture of innovation is massively important for our state, for Australia, for our sovereign capability. We need to be able to make things. Innovation and making things are two sides of the same coin. We need to be able to stand on our 2 feet. Yes, we have alliances and we work as a global partnership, but we need to be able to make things and innovate here so that we could protect our citizens, we could feed our people, and we could develop new industries and new businesses to support our young people.
Environmental health is the branch of public health that involves looking at the impacts of the environment on people's health. So it's not the health of the environment per se, it's the things like the air quality, the water quality and so on that impact on human health. So I came from a reasonably non-traditional background. As an academic, I left school very early and went off and saw the world, and then went back to university as an older student. So I'm pretty familiar with the things that make it difficult for older students, so that's really influenced my teaching. I think that everybody, so not just scientists but non-science students, should graduate with an understanding of science, because everybody needs to contribute to those big debates that we're having. Things like genetic modification, climate change, the pandemic, and all those big global issues require information from the scientists, but it also requires that other people understand that information and are able to interpret it and therefore apply it properly. So my mantra is that anyone can learn anything as long as we teach them in the right way. But I think primarily that most students learn best by developing their own experiments and setting up their own scientific research. I set the challenge, like go and get the water out of the lake and turn it into something that's drinkable, but I don't actually tell students how to do this. And if they develop their own experimental design, the learning outcomes are so much greater because they own that. When I work on weekends, I come down here and then I bring a big backpack of oranges and all this sort of stuff, sit down there, have a few oranges and stuff, and then walk back. And I do that 2 or 3 times during the day because it makes me feel like I'm not working weekends.
And the winner of the STEM Educator of the Year University or Registered Training Organisation Teaching Award is Professor Giselle Rampersad.
Well, Dr. Rampersad, under her leadership, the award-winning Diploma of Digital Technologies program has received national recognition for upskilling shipbuilders, small and medium enterprises and STEM teachers in schools to create an enabled future workforce through excellence, collaboration and innovation. An absolutely deserving and worthy winner out of some incredible finalists. Would you like to say a few words? Well, I'm not giving you a choice, you have to, okay? Would you like me to take some?
Thank you. I think I'll echo the words of Professor Carolyn McMillan. Something is happening in SE. I'd like to congratulate all of the finalists and winners here tonight for your courage, leadership, and boldness. It is a very exciting time here in SE. It is an absolute pleasure to be celebrating here at home at Tonsley. It is a fantastic innovation precinct, and watch out, we'll be doing a lot of very special things. Look, special thanks to my students. Our students, they're very special to us. Our industry collaborators, BAE Systems, I'm seeing several of you here in the room tonight, Georgette Elston and Sean Wilson, and all of the companies that work with us, all of the schools that work with us, my colleagues at Flinders University, for your dedication. I couldn't do it alone, it's certainly a team effort. The state and federal government for your support of our programs. You know, it is such a special time for innovation here, and I wish all of the finalists and winners tonight the very best, and I really look forward to working with all of you moving forward. Thanks very much. And finally, I couldn't leave without thanking my family, my husband Brendan here tonight. You know, when the going gets tough, you know, the family has really been there to support me, so thanks very much.
Sir, I thought you were looking very proud, but I wasn't going to go out on a limb again after it all worked out yesterday, but yes, okay. Look, I have been checking the social and the Twitter feed. Genuinely, it absolutely warms my heart to see how many people are already talking about our winners and telling everybody about their incredible work. So please keep doing that. And again, that hashtag, especially on Twitter, is hashtag SA Science Awards. Now, a week or so ago, the 2021 South Australian Tall Poppy Unsung Heroes for South Australia, as well as the Citizen Science Awards, were presented. Now, each year, the Tall Poppy Awards recognise individuals who combine world-class research with a passionate commitment to communicating science and who demonstrate great leadership potential. So let's meet the finalists.
My research is all about improving the quality of life and well-being of people affected by cancer. Cancer treatment has come a really long way. I mean, 5-year survival for all cancers is now the highest it's ever been. It's at around 70%. So what that means is that we now have an obligation to improve the way in which we support people who have gone through cancer treatment. So some people will go through cancer therapy and be completely okay. Other people will develop a range of physical and psychological side effects that really have a significant impact on their ability to live a happy and fulfilling life. And so One of my research areas is actually predicting who will be at risk of developing some of these complications so that we can intervene earlier. The way in which they provide care to people with cancer at the moment is quite fragmented. They get frustrated at the fact that they're having to go from healthcare provider to healthcare provider. And they also get frustrated that people don't seem to think that the side effects of treatment are that worthy of intensive care. What I really get the most out of in engaging with people with cancer is that my work is valued, but on a more important front, I think I've learnt that my work needs to address multiple side effects at once and not just look at one thing in isolation. It's about understanding the person's whole well-being and understanding how that can be best supported. I used to be a very nervous public speaker, but I think I've found it easier now that I'm speaking about something that I'm genuinely passionate about and very much invested in. I think I have an obligation to increase the visibility of this research area as a really valued and important space.
So I study how the cells in the brain change in response to our environment. For example, how pain-sensing neurons change when they sense pain over long periods, such as in chronic pain. And I do this using the worm model. So we use the nematode worm, or a roundworm called C. elegans, because it has only 300 brain cells. So that's a lot less than a human, which has 100 billion brain cells. So if we wanted to understand how sensory neurons, like pain-sensing neurons, how they change, we want to do it in a system where we can see every brain cell at the same time. When pain is long-lasting, the drugs that we use to treat short-term pain are not created to treat pain over long periods. And those drugs, which are known as opioids, are highly effective for short-term pain, but are very addictive if used over long periods. What my research has shown is that there are some chemical signals which actually cause that sensitization without stopping the actual pain response. So if we block those chemicals, maybe we can block chronic pain. When we tell people to trust science, we tell people trust the science, trust the scientists. But that's a very nebulous and hard to define thing, right? We're not saying trust everyone in a white lab coat who looks like Einstein. We're saying trust the process. But if people don't understand what the process is, then we are asking them to trust something they don't understand. So I do a lot of science communication because I want to demonstrate what that scientific process is. And so that people can sort of feed it into their everyday lives. And so when they're asked, you know, would you use this drug which people use to deworm horses to treat coronavirus? Maybe they can think that's not really scientific, rather than just being like, someone in a white lab coat told me that.
My research is about bringing back marine shellfish reefs formed by oysters and mussels, which carpeted the Australian coastline with reefs over 3,000 or 4,000 kilometres just 150 years ago. They're all gone now, and we're working to bring them back. We developed very efficient dredging technology, and that literally just scraped all the oysters from the sea floor, so there was nothing left, and in Australia we've lost about 99% of them. Even though we've pushed these systems to the brink of extinction, we've already shown in just a few short years that we can bring these ecosystems back by providing hard substrate boulders on the seafloor that the oysters, if they can find them, can settle on and start to regenerate these habitats. And one of the things that I do in my research is I use underwater speakers to play the sounds that baby oysters use to find a suitable place to live. So if we place these marine speakers on these restored reefs, these constructed reefs, that provides a navigational cue for little oysters to swim towards these reefs and settle where we need them so we can bring them back. We're not bringing them back to eat them again. We're bringing them back because oysters are ecological superheroes. They do all sorts of things for the environment. One of the major things is they provide this really complex habitat where a lot of organisms live. Oyster reefs act as natural fish factories. They provide nursery habitat in which a lot of juvenile fish grow up. I love oysters. They're delicious, but they're probably the most sustainable meat you could possibly eat. I don't think there's really an organism, an animal in particular, that has influenced human culture the same way that oysters have over thousands of years.
Yes, that's right, some incredible finalists. And yes, we did find, and she found this out just a week or so ago, but Dr. Hannah Wardle is the 2021 SA Tall Poppy of the Year. So please put your hands together and acknowledge her incredible work. So the annual Unsung Hero of South Australian Science Awards were conducted by National Science, and that was all happening National Science Week, and it recognises SA scientists and science communicators whose contribution has been significant over a long period of time, but who have not yet received any formal public recognition. The first Unsung Hero Award is the Unsung Hero for Science and Research Endeavours, and congratulations went to Dr. Michaela Short. I'll read a little bit of what she has done. So she had a radiation therapy career spanning 20 years and has spent the past 15 as a lecturer and researcher. Her career mission is to enhance the lives of cancer patients receiving radiation therapy, an essential cancer treatment which uniquely combines patient care and communication with comprehensive knowledge of biology, pathology, cross-sectional anatomy, and an in-depth knowledge of radiation physics. And she's just one of 3 South Australian radiation therapists with a PhD, and her contribution to scientific research in South Australia has not only helped cancer patients, but has trained and inspired a new generation of radiation therapy researchers. Now we'll move to the second Unsung Hero Award, and that is the Science Communication Award. That was awarded to Mr. Terry Reardon. Now, Terry is known to many people as South Australia's very own Batman, and he's contributed more to the public's understanding of bats and the conservation in this state than anyone else.
I don't understand, and bats get a pretty bad rap. But the most glorious thing for me is giving talks all the time to community groups, and you show people live bats or pictures of them. And it's a real game changer, you know, people all of a sudden see, oh, aren't they cute? Somehow when we grow up, we sort of lose that interest in wildlife or whatever and kind of get more frightened, I think. But even so, talking to older groups of people, and it's a pretty profound revelation for a lot of people to see the diversity of bats and understand how important they are in the environment. So bats make up about 22% of all the mammal species in the world, and same in Australia. Well, I guess primarily I'm interested in conservation, and I guess the reason why I do it is because I'm trying to raise awareness of bats amongst people, and hopefully the conservation outcomes will follow. I guess I'm retired now, but I'm involved with student projects, and I've been involved with the Australasian Bat Society, so I've seen myself in a role of encouraging lots of people to get in studying bats, and the number of people involved with that society has grown enormously. My colleagues interstate are like-minded, we're encouraging students and being involved, and these are really passionate people and really smart people, and I think bats are much better off for all the efforts that we might put in encouraging others to take up the baton. So I have an honorary research position at the museum, but there's so many projects to do, there's so much to do, and there's so many cool people to work with. I guess I stop when I drop. Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good bat joke in there? I bet you he's heard them all. Let's now meet a little bit of what Dr. Michaela Short has achieved.
My role at UniSA is as a senior lecturer in radiation therapy. I teach undergraduate students but also do research of my own and supervise postgraduate students. Radiation therapy has been advancing very rapidly. There's been huge technological advancements, and one of which is quite exciting is the use of proton therapy. So with proton therapy, what we're able to do is provide radiation treatment to patients who perhaps wouldn't have been offered radiation previously because of maybe the tumour is in a difficult location to receive the treatment. And also for patients that are young, who are very vulnerable, proton therapy is able to offer treatment that comes with fewer side effects. The technology is so exciting and advances so quickly that it's easy to be taken away with the technology and forget that there is the person there. And so what I try and do is ensure that students are reminded of the fact that there is a patient there who requires your care, and maybe one day that person might be you or me or one of our loved ones. So the patient care aspect is just as important as having the skills to operate the technology. I've always been interested in teaching. Since I was a little girl, I was playing teachers with my cousins, so it was something that I felt really drawn to from the start. But I really also like the research side of things, so I've got a dream job where I get to do two things that I love to do.
It's great to share and what she's doing, isn't it? So now this year, Inspiring South Australia and the South Australian chapter of the Australian Citizen Science Association have introduced the South Australian Citizen Science and Engagement Awards for outstanding citizen science projects in South Australia. Try saying that fast a few times over. Now, these inaugural awards recognise both long-term and new citizen science projects that are producing excellent data and observations, engaging communities in diverse activities, as well as helping to inspire and educate new generations. So, for the Citizen Science Award for Outstanding Community Engagement, we had a number of finalists.
Dolphin Watch is a citizen science project which asks community members to go out into the field using photographic identification techniques to try and identify dolphins in the wild and work out where they're going and why they're going there, these types of fundamental conservation questions. Any person who wishes to be a citizen scientist can involve themselves in a project like Dolphin Watch. If you can hold a camera, you can actually participate. We went to Dashwood Bay, which is halfway along the north coast of Kangaroo Island, and it appears to be a relatively unique place. Scientists have indicated to us that there is something special about it. 96% of the time or more when we are in Dashwood Bay, there are mothers there with calves. Now that is very, very rare from what we understand. So we are keen to see it get extra levels of protection than it currently has. Don't just collect data. Don't be afraid to use your data to try and protect and conserve those things that you see as being so special. If you care for something, you take care of it. And at the moment, we can't ask people to care for something they haven't experienced. You've got some of the most beautiful, iconic animals in the world. You're out in nature, and you're actually surrounded by the sea. So it's the triple whammy. It is very, very rewarding for the people who become involved. And if there is something that can actually sell citizen science, I think it's probably that point.
iBandy is all about empowering community members to spend time out in nature to discover unused potential bandicoot habitat. The I in it is for iNaturalist, which is a free app that people can download and use to log locations such as this one. The reason for that is if there's a big bushfire out where there are bandicoots currently, we could go out, rescue those bandicoots, rehabilitate them and potentially release them into new unused habitat. So this location was actually submitted by one of our citizen scientists. It is a fantastic one for bandicoots. Currently there aren't any bandicoots here yet, but the reason it's so good is because if you look around, it's so dense, so the bandicoots have lots of places to hide.
Blackberry is a weed of national significance in Australia, so it's a pest plant. And at the same time, we've got this nationally endangered marsupial that sometimes relies on blackberry as habitat. And that's where the native habitat has been cleared. There's no cover and protection from predators for them. And so in those situations, the blackberry is essential habitat for this endangered bandicoot. Citizen science is that connection between the science and people caring and working together. So increasingly, it's an absolutely central part of our science.
If I was just going out into the wilderness trying to find unused habitat, it would take me a lifetime through the Mount Lofty Ranges. But when we've got, 100 citizen scientists doing it with knowledge on the local area, it only takes a couple of months to get that knowledge. Our goal was to have 30 citizen scientists. We ended up with about 100.
So out of that, incredible work, and there really is an app for everything, isn't there now with bandicoots, but the award for citizen science for outstanding community engagement this year went to the Kangaroo Island and Victor Harbour Dolphin Watch team. So now we go to the Citizen Science Award for outstanding science and research, and here were the finalists.
So Echidna CSI is a citizen science project. It's an Australia-wide project, and essentially we asked the public to download a phone app that we had created so that the public could take photos of echidnas out in the wild so that we can find out more about where exactly they are. And also people collect echidna poo for me. I guess the really good thing with the echidna scats is that they're really distinct looking, so they're like these long tubes of soil essentially, and they kind of glitter in the sun because there's broken up exoskeletons throughout it as well. So it's quite a nice poo to collect if you were so inclined to. There is no way that we as a research group would ever be able to do this type of research without a citizen science approach. So we now have over 12,000 participants across Australia who have downloaded the app and have given us thousands and thousands of sightings across Australia too, and that's been the largest amount of data we've ever been able to collect for echidnas out in the wild. Dr. Peggy Rees-Miller is the world leading echidna ecologist. So we have the best knowledge about echidnas right here on Kangaroo Island. That's the best studied population in the entire of Australia. The Kangaroo Island echidna population is also listed as endangered. And it's the only one that's listed because it's the only one that's been well studied enough to actually know that they are endangered. The amount of passion that people have for wildlife conservation is really incredible. And I think everyone does have that internalized sense of they just want to help.
We're working in the State Herbarium's preserved plant collection. The particular section we're in includes our bryophyte collection of nearly 40,000 specimens, but it's a part of a nearly 1.2 million collections of plants from South Australia and around the world. We worked with a national program called Digivol. They work with putting images up and citizen scientists then type in the data from images. And what they've done is allowed us to go from having virtually none of our specimens in our database to now we have more than 30,000 of those 40,000 bryophytes with some data in our system. The method we would have used before this citizen science work, someone would have had to have taken each of those packets, looked at them, entered the data. What Andrew and Bonnie here in the herbarium were able to do was take images of those specimens and then use the citizen science efforts to capture the data. Now, that's probably saved us several years of data entry time. I love plants. In my heart, I'm a botanist, but I've ended up here as the head of the herbarium and leading these kinds of projects because I have a very strong focus on the community needing to know about our flora and fauna. And one of the things that collections institutions like ours do they are the interface with the public, with decision makers in government and with scientists of what our biota is. So it's a really important role and these are very important collections.
And Echidna CSI became this year's winner of the Citizen Science Award for outstanding science and research. So well done for that program. So congratulations to all of the unsung hero and tall poppy winners and finalists. Just some amazing work that's going on in our state, and it's wonderful again to see so many of you already putting it out there and letting other people know about it. Now we're trending. Yeah. I'm on the ABC, I never trend, all right? Yeah. We were at number 13, then we moved into 11th, and we've cracked the top 10. So we're at number 8 at the moment. So to Katrina and Dr. Dasari and Bronwyn, you're all pulling your weight, the rest of you lift, okay? Got to finish at number 1, that's our game. I don't know what happened. Maybe Minister Pisoni will give you all grants in the election lead up, will we? Maybe? I don't. Anyway, we'll work on that. Now, the incredible trophies that you've seen given out tonight are amazing, and they're designed by Jam Factory production manager Danielle Barry and made at the Jam Factory by the Jewellery and Metal Studio in there. And those 3 folded discs reference the awards logos, and they're made from anodised titanium, and they're riveted together with sterling silver and presented on black and oak base. So they're absolutely incredible. The other thing I just really wanted to really pay tribute to are these incredible stories that we're seeing here and the videos that are being put together. How amazing are those videos? And they've been created by Randy Larkham and Susie Ting from Randy Larkham Films and Stills. This unbelievable curiosity and interest in people that they see and then help them tell the stories is why we are seeing such a great presentation on what everybody has been up to this year. So can you please put your hands together for the people behind the scenes that have done that? So now I would like to welcome your and South Australia's Chief Entrepreneur, Andrew Nunn, to say a few words.
Thank you very much and good evening. Her Excellency, the Honourable Francis Adamson AC and Rod Bunton, the Honourable David Pisoni, Member of Parliament and Minister for Innovation and Skills, Dr Susan Close, MP, Deputy Leader of the ALP, Chief Scientist for South Australia, Professor Carolyn McMillan AO, Mr Adam Reid, Chief Executive, Department of Innovation and Skills. Good evening everyone, my name's Andrew Nunn, I'm South Australia's Chief Entrepreneur, and it's an enormous privilege for me to be here tonight. Whilst looking at the finalists and the videos, one thing comes really clear to me, and to be fair, it's consistent with what my wife has told me for a number of years, that I'm not the smartest person in this room. So, and that's fine, because I actually don't need to be. I'm part of the smartest team in the room, and what my focus is here, and what my focus is the Office of the South Australian Chief Entrepreneur, is a focus on teams, a focus on how do we get the best people working with us. The best teams, as we know, have complementary skills. They have a clear focus on where they're going, and they have great leadership. And that's what we're trying to build here in South Australia. Collaboration is the key to building good teams. Collaboration is the magic dust that turns projects into productivity. It gives us much better economic outcomes, it gives us jobs growth, it gives us outcomes. We need to continue to focus on how we collaborate. And it's more important here in SA than anywhere else. We don't necessarily have the biggest innovation districts, we don't necessarily have the most researchers, but what we do have is the most livable city in the country. What we do have is the most connected group of anywhere in this country. And this is really important. What we laugh about, we talk about the 1 degree of separation in South Australia, that is our strength. That is the thing we need to work on. That is the thing we need to keep building. Because that degree of connectedness, that allows us to continue to get outcomes, to get the outcomes we need, and to build where we're going. The people we will see now in the videos regarding collaboration between science and industry, they're amazing. They've done it. So we're going to have a look at that. But the point I need to make is we need to get more researchers working with researchers to get better collaboration outcomes. We need to get researchers working with business so we get more commercialisable outcomes. And we need to get business working with government to make sure that what we're investing in is actually driving in the direction we're taking the nation. So it's really important we push those things. But fundamentally, I think it's important that we just move forward, we watch these people, we watch what they've done, and they set an example of where we're heading. What I think is really, and I ask you all to do, any of you who have an idea, or any of you who are doing your research, or you've got a project, please think about who you need to talk to, who you need to collaborate with, and make that phone call, send that email. And if you're struggling to make the connections you need, come and talk to us at the Office of the South Australian Chief Entrepreneur, and we will help you. I'd like to congratulate all the finalists and all the winners tonight, and it's been a fantastic evening, and it will only get better. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for everything you do for this state, because it's a great state. Please, keep going. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Andrew. And yeah, we'll get you to present the next award. And you know how I've been so excited because we're sharing these great scientific stories. Stephanie Wasley, put your hand up. Where are you, Stephanie? There you are, Stephanie, down there. Stephanie's winning tweet of the night. She just took a photo of a gin bottle and said, "There's science in gin, right?" Hashtag SA Science Awards. Brilliant. I'm going to go and see Wine Chemist again, all right, and then I'm coming down to Stephanie's table at the end of all this. So let's get into the Excellence in Science and Industry Collaboration Award, and this is open to teams that have harnessed innovative and productive models of STEM and industry collaboration, which may lead to economic, social or environmental impacts. Here are the finalists.
The Australian Institute of Machine Learning is an institute within the university, but it was born out of a really unique interaction between government, university and local companies. It was formed as recognition that South Australia is batting above its weight in terms of its AI innovation. So the innovation sort of stems from our academic prowess, but also sort of speaks really strongly to our ability to translate those successes into tangible things for local companies. For a long time, people have thought AI and ML has been the purview of sort of big multinationals, but our mission here at AMOR is to sort of show that these sorts of innovations can be applied not only for sort of big international businesses, but for local businesses and even for government, and to sort of really showcase the excellence that we have here in Australia, especially here in South Australia. I think a lot of small to medium enterprises sort of get scared. They're saying, well, how am I going to keep up? But really what we're trying to do here is change that argument over is that AI is really a productivity tool. If you want to get your business more productive and compete with people internationally and even within the state, you can really leverage that to actually be more productive. What AI offers a promise of is the ability to complexify our economy and really give our kids the opportunity to have a really diverse set of jobs and industries that they could go into in the future. But what a lot of South Australians don't recognise is that we are actually second in the world at the moment in a particular area of AI, which is amazing. It's incumbent upon sort of well-functioning democracies like Australia to actually play a leading role in how AI is being deployed across the world. Like, is it being used ethically? Is it being used in a moral way? And so an important part of that is actually to have excellence in AI so people will listen to us.
The center being set up is not to serve the first or second generation of marine bioindustry, which the first generation is the fisheries, and the second generation is aquaculture, is more controlled, growing the stuff for food. But both first or second generation of a marine bioindustry, the main product is for food. So we are focused on the next generation of marine bioindustry development, which is a high-value marine bioproducts. The third generation marine bioproduct industry is about addressing the sustainability issue. So we will build the primary industry to grow this marine bioresources sustainably and in an eco-friendly and in a circular economical way. We're also looking for the life cycle of the whole primary production and the end of the product's production and the use of it, and to make sure they are fit into a circular economic context. If you look at the whole Earth, and the ocean is 71%. So if you compare with any of our primary production, you possibly go to maximum a few meters. But in the ocean, you can go from the surface water and going down to very deep. So therefore, it's huge in terms of the ocean territory, and it's fundamentally they have more biodiversity, resources there. You have much more opportunity and also much more value you can create out of that. The most critical part is to understand what the industry wants. So that means you need to really understand your customer, your users, right, of your technology. To produce something is relatively easy, but to produce in a sustainable way in terms of energy efficient, water efficient, chemical efficient, and also sustainable, and that is a challenge.
Micro-X is an innovative company that makes X-ray machines. Micro-X is very passionate about STEM outreach. We're passionate about sharing our innovation and about educating young people. And we have a very strong relationship with Flinders University, where we take in engineers and science students for work integrated learning placements.
So the students can see when working at Micro-X that how the theory that we tell them in the lecture theatre translates into real-life applications, how you need what we try to teach them to make a real product, to make something amazing, to maybe save the world.
So we found that the STEM outreach has to be innovative as well, rather than having a strict program. We collaborate with specific academics and also with Teresa from STEM Fast Track, where we start bringing students in from primary school.
So working with primary schools is the best. So these kids have amazing imaginations and they're willing to ask questions and get engaged. And often when we bring the primary school kids, they're here the longest, like over an hour tour. And this is so important because you need to plant the seed in the young minds, because girls usually by age 9 or 10 decide their career, and it's based on what they see. So if they get the exposure, it really impacts them for their decision making. You can't be what you can't see.
So I think it is very important that you grow your employees in a sense, that you teach young people how to work in industry, how to apply their knowledge, and it is important for industry to grow and for manufacturing right in Australia or South Australia even, that we can have our own employees with the specific skills that we need.
And so we come to the winner. And the winner of the Excellence in Science and Industry Collaboration for that award is the Australian Institute for Machine Learning Industry Solutions. This group works collaboratively with South Australian business leaders and their staff to expand in-house capability and create commercial growth through smart application of data. From 2018 to 2021, they worked with 21 small, medium businesses to enhance AI and machine learning capability within their operations, and their work created 30 new jobs and 13 new AI products. They've also uplifted machine learning capability into sports star booking company Pickstar, leading to new partnerships with international clients, and their work with Rising Sun Pictures has propelled them to the forefront of cutting-edge visual effects and animations. Overall, the companies they've worked with are now strengthened in their outlook and strategy and exhibit new capabilities, skills, jobs and confidence. Who's going to speak? Come on over. No one else seemed to be volunteering in a hurry, so...
No. Well, I'm just the face of this. It really was a team effort. So a big shout out to our engineering team at the Australian Institute of Machine Learning. Aaron, the lead, and the rest of the team have been sort of indispensable in this. And I just wanted to sort of echo the sentiment that was sort of on this upward trajectory here in South Australia. I've only been in South Australia for the last 12 months. I've been really humbled by sort of the energy that's here. The Australian Institute of Machine Learning is really a joint effort between the state government, the University of Adelaide that really supports us, and the big thing too is these business partners that we get to work with. And the thing I'm really excited by is sort of the future that's ahead of us and all the wonderful things that we can go on to achieve. So thank you so much.
Well done, everyone. Congratulations. All right, now we move to the PhD Research Excellence Award, and this award recognises recent PhD graduates with outstanding early career achievement in their field and strong potential to contribute to industry or enterprises within South Australia. Here are the finalists.
So my PhD research was focused on trying to understand the cause that underlies the nearly 3,000 stillbirths and newborn deaths that occur every year in Australia. So at present, the gold standard diagnostic approach to this is an autopsy. What my research looked at was a genomic approach to autopsy. So examining the entire DNA sequence of a deceased newborn and comparing that to the entire DNA sequence of their healthy parents to look for differences between the two that could explain the cause of the death. From this research, in 50% of the families we worked with, we were able to identify a definitive cause or a likely cause for their loss. This meant that we were able to provide more accurate counselling to families, and already about 25% of the families that we gave a diagnosis to have used this information to inform their reproductive planning, already leading to the birth of 11 healthy babies. For families where it is something that could recur and they were able to access PGD, it's been life-changing. There's such a lovely quote from one of their families that went on to have a healthy child, that our life is now complete. So I'm currently a postdoc with the Translational Genomics group at the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard. Due to the COVID pandemic, I've not been able to join the team in person. As soon as Australian borders open, I'm looking forward to being able to join the team, hopefully from January of 2022.
My PhD was all about short-beaked echidnas across Australia and finding ways that we can combine public engagement with molecular studies to really help with their conservation. The biggest part of my PhD was creating and running the Echidna CSI Citizen Science Project. So that was where we had the public involved in collecting data and material for us, and then having a look at the DNA from the material. So that was scat DNA, as well as getting DNA from swab samples and also DNA from even tissues. So when I first started my undergrad, I really wanted to do something involved in zoology and with animals and mammals in particular, but then I also really wanted to do the genetic side of things too. I did my honours degree in ancient DNA, so taking DNA from bones of fossilised animals that have been long gone extinct, and then I realised that I didn't want to study things that were already extinct. I want to make sure that things don't become extinct in the future. Conservation in general is probably not as well funded as it really needs to be, and it is such an important part of not just making sure that our animals and ecosystems are healthy, but it's a people thing too. If we don't look after our environment, we're not looking after ourselves. They're definitely adorable, and I think they're the type of animal that you say echidna and someone has a story about that one time that they saw an echidna. Like, it really sticks in people's memories whenever they see them, because they're such a magical thing to see out in the wild. We've got some kangaroos in the background here. Hey guys!
So my PhD was looking at stroke, in particular the development of brain swelling and associated rise in pressure following stroke. After stroke, we have this fluid that can build up in the brain. And when this happens, because the brain is contained within the skull, this can lead to a subsequent rise in pressure. One of the biggest issues we have with stroke is we have really poor translation. So what we understand in the lab, we really rarely get that through to clinical trials, so to effective treatments that can be used to treat patients. So my PhD was really looking to bridge that gap so we can, again, hopefully identify a treatment and screen it really thoroughly so that then we can have a greater ability to predict its efficacy at clinical trials. In my PhD, we were able to screen this drug called the NK1 antagonist really thoroughly, and then so much so that we were able to provide key preclinical evidence, and now the drug is through to phase 2 clinical trials, which is really exciting and I guess a highlight of my PhD. So I had a minor stroke when I was 19, and it really set me on the course for my career and my love of neuroscience. I just started my health science degree, and my goal was always to transfer into medicine. But then I got this real passion for science, and that's what really made me pursue the neuroscience, and then ultimately my honours, and then my PhD, and then now I'm a postdoc here in Cambridge. Cambridge is so small, so it's not what I'm used to. It's so small but so rich with knowledge and education and everything, and I really love that about being here, so very lucky to be part of it.
Some incredible research happening there, and the winner for this year's PhD Research Excellent Award is Dr. Alicia Byrne. As we heard, stillbirth and newborn death are devastating tragedies that affect more than 2,750 Australian families every year, and their wide-ranging psychosocial and economic impacts are felt by so many people within the community. Dr. Burns, you want to say a few words?
Oh my gosh. Firstly, a huge congratulations to both Talia and Annabelle, and to all the finalists here tonight. But especially Talia and Annabelle, I'm thrilled and a little bit shocked to have won this award, but especially so when the two other finalists were so incredibly talented. I think we can all look forward to seeing what they go on to achieve. Thanks as well to the organisers and the sponsors for tonight's event. It's such a really wonderful celebration of the incredible science that's being done in Australia, South Australia, and our capacity in innovation and technology. Science isn't done alone. In fact, it's done best in a team, and I'm really fortunate to have been part of the most amazing team throughout my PhD. Very enthusiastic team. So thanks, of course, to my primary supervisor, Hamish Scott, who managed to be all of the things that I needed a supervisor to be at the different times when I needed them. My co-supervisors, Chris Hahn and Corinne Kassan, the members of the genomic autopsy study team, many of whom are here tonight, which is fitting because I wouldn't be here without them, our collaborators in Australia and around the world. But finally, but I have to thank my partner and my parents. But then finally, thanks to the families who are involved in this research, who I have never met most of them, but have all taught me so much about what it is to be a rare disease researcher and why that's so important. Yeah, thank you.
I love it, the third last award, and we finally got woohoos! Yeah, brilliant. And as we are coming to the end of the award presentations, we're down to the last two awards. Now, the South Australian Innovator of the Year Award is sponsored by Novatech, and it recognises STEM individuals or teams who are presently working in South Australia, either in the private or public sectors, and have developed new-to-world or new-to-industry products or services, or delivered innovation through policy or health, social or environmental impact. To present this penultimate award, please welcome Hugh Coble, Production Manager from Novatech, as well as Minister Pisoni, who is coming to the stage.
Good evening, folks. Novatech Creative Event Technology are very proud to be a platinum sponsor of the SA Science Excellence and Innovation Awards. For those who don't know Novatech, we provide technology solutions and capability for the events industry. Our work underpins some of Australia's most high-profile and engaging live events. For example, and over the last 6 months, we provided the light show for the AFL Grand Final halftime show in Perth, the audience experience for Illuminate's light cycles in the Adelaide Botanic Gardens, and currently we're providing lights, sound, staging and vision solutions for the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra's Festival of Orchestra at the Adelaide Showgrounds. We chose to partner with the awards because innovation is a core value of our business. It's part of our DNA. So supporting innovation across industry resonates with and reflects the innovative culture at Novatec. It provides us with interdisciplinarity and the opportunity to network with other innovative companies across the spectrum of industry.
Thank you, Hugh. They're generally the best at what they do, and I can thoroughly throw my support behind the ASO FOFO that's happening. The staging and lighting and everything these guys have provided is incredible. So now we meet the finalists.
So 3RT formed on the concept that there was a lot of hardwood material around, not really being utilised that well, and we thought, what can we do with it? How can we create a hardwood product that makes use of low-value timber and turns it into something that's of high value? Our process is really unique. We're a bit different to a lot of the other engineered timber products around. We use a low-value wood that's not necessarily a perfect quality. We combine it with a water-based non-toxic glue, and it's the whole glue and the process working together that gives us a unique product at the end. So the innovation here is all about making a product that has the same properties as hardwood. It looks like hardwood, but it's been made out of low-value timber. We've also brought in material science and automation to make the process work in a way that we can make it viable in a high labour cost country like Australia.
The investors in Australia seem to think that manufacturing in Australia is dead, and that really is not the case. There's enormous opportunities with things like the technology that we're using here to be able to manufacture goods in Australia at a competitive price, both within Australia and internationally. And that is a really exciting opportunity for Australia, but it does take a bit of a mindset. Manufacturing is alive. One positive outcome from COVID will be the realisation of sovereign capability. We need to be able to make some of these things here in Australia because we can't always rely on our trading partners to make it. The potential for this product to go into decorative structural products is enormous. It's in the billions, just because you can't purchase hardwoods of these types of dimensions anywhere.
Our initial engagement with Clean Earth Technology began when they reached out to us for a mercury pollution problem they had in one of their mining operations. Mercury historically was used to extract gold from ore, and they wanted to develop a method to recover this mercury and separate it from all of the other valuable metals. Our lab delivered on this project and developed a way to not only recover the mercury and dispose of it in a safe way, but also to recover the gold. So the intersection between interests in gold mining and e-waste is that they both contain gold. We discard millions of tons of e-waste every year around the world, and the gold that's contained in things like printed circuit boards is quite valuable. And in this printed circuit board here, you can see these contacts contain substantial amounts of gold. And because the amount of gold is higher per mass than many bodies of ore, it's worthwhile developing a process to recycle that and to recover that valuable metal. And this has led Clean Earth Technologies to raise substantial funds, and their plan is to build the first recycling plant in Australia that's capable of recycling printed circuit boards. So chemistry has played an important part in all of humanity. Think of all of the ways that we generate food, clean water, clean air, sustainable fuel. These power our human life. Unfortunately, many of these chemical technologies have led to pollution that is a serious problem globally. And chemists now have a responsibility, a duty of care, to develop processes and technologies to eliminate that pollution and ensure a sustainable course forward where we can benefit from all of the amazing things that chemistry provides without harming ourselves and the environment. That's a mountain to climb. It's intellectually challenging, and we like solving these problems, and if they can benefit the environment and human well-being, then that's even better.
So we want to shorten the time to find a better treatment for cancer patients. A mini well means organ in mini wells, which means we grow patient organs inside the mini wells. which is an organ-on-a-chip device. The current treatment actually is the patient directly receive treatment. It takes very long time to know the treatment outcome. Yeah, for cancer patients, they have no time to wait, and some patients die because treatment inefficacy. That's why we want to directly replicate human tissues outside of human body, which means it's a replicate of individual patients. I come from Taiwan, and I was a biomedical engineer. Sylvia is my twin sister. She's the CEO of the OmniWell.
We wish we can save more patients' lives as soon as possible. Scientists always think their technology is the best, but from other people's perspective, how can we transfer from technology to commercialized product? It's also very difficult. Yeah, very competitive field. So we're trying to do as fast as we can. I would say it's a very long process. People here, everyone knows everyone, so they can refer me to people who has their expertise. So we're trying to engage with the community, and Adelaide is such a great city to help us to make dream come true.
And the winner of Innovator of the Year Award is Associate Professor Justin Chalker.
Yes, Associate Professor Justin Chalker has invented a portfolio of green technologies that support the business activities of Clean Earth Technologies. He's invented novel coatings and vehicles for slow-to-release fertilisers. He's done field trials, and the technology promises to help reduce wasteful nutrient runoff that can harm the environment. He's done mercury capture technology, which is a benign method to extract and recover gold from ore and electronic waste. His innovations are the basis for so many products and services. And it's wonderful, and he's a very, very worthy winner. Come and say a few words.
Oh, well, thank you so much for this tremendous honor. So I first want to congratulate all of the finalists for their achievements. It's been so inspiring to see such a commitment to science and innovation in South Australia. I thank the sponsors for this award, Novatech, the organizers, the selection panels, and sponsors for their time and support in celebrating science achievement. I thank Clean Earth Technologies, our industry partner that's committed to taking our laboratory discoveries and inventions and translating them into commercial products and services. And their efforts have resulted in raising more than $20 million in investment that reflects the level of commitment to innovation. This investment doesn't just propel their business, it provides opportunities for the next generation of innovation and employment for our highly skilled science and engineers right here in South Australia, many of whom you've met tonight. And this is not an individual award. I'm accepting this on behalf of our research team at Flinders University. Your hard work, insight, and creativity have made all of this possible. Thank you. And there's more. In particular, I'm grateful to Dr. Louisa Esdale, my partner in life and in science. It's been an adventure leading these research projects together. I thank you for contributing to everything from the process chemistry campaign, e-waste plant design, and the many papers that we've written together and the students that we've co-supervised. It's no wonder that our daughter Pippa eagerly dressed up as a scientist for a career day at school. And on a lighter note, I think of this as a shared award. So in our internal process, I originally did not intend to apply for this because I nominated my co-finalists, David Lewis, John Campbell, and the team from 3RT. And so I want to consider this award a shared recognition, and let's use this together to continue our collaborations at Flinders and support science and innovation. I want to thank Rob Saint for
insisting on applying for this recognition. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for this recognition. Congratulations to all the other finalists, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Minister Pisoni and Hugh there from Novatech. I'd now like to please welcome Her Excellency the Honourable Frances Adamson, Governor of South Australia, as well as Professor Caroline McMillan, to present our final award, the 2021 South Australian Scientist of the Year. Now, this award recognises an individual who has demonstrated excellence in any STEM field and has made an outstanding contribution in providing leadership and inspiring others to become involved in science. Here are this year's finalists.
Chronic myeloid leukemia is a cancer of the bone marrow, and without treatment that is usually fatal. In the 1990s we were able to control the disease, but inevitably it would progress to a fatal end stage. In the 2000s we were able to control the disease to the point where people could get on with relatively normal lives but still had the toxicity of the drugs that we needed to control the disease. And the focus today is to see if we can get such good control that we can actually get them off therapy altogether. In the last 12 months we've developed a clinical trial, which is the world first, where we're using a new agent that was developed by Novartis that we've been working on closely with them over the last 5 years. Now we're able to be the first trial centre in the world to use this drug for patients when they first present with chronic myeloid leukemia, and we're very excited with the results we're seeing so far. Fortunately, funding doesn't equal results. With very targeted funding and the right group of people, we can make a meaningful impact worldwide. There are groups around the world who have massive funding, but if you don't ask the right questions and have the right people in the room, you don't necessarily get the most efficient use of that funding. I think one of the real keys to success in medical research is to build an appropriate team where you have the clinician perspective on what matters in this disease, but you also have the scientists who have the necessary skills that can actually answer those questions. And I think that's been a really strong feature of our work. Each patient is a piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and their willingness to be part of our trials, to give us their blood, their bone marrow, to study, it's quite amazing. I've never had a patient refuse consent, which I think is quite remarkable over several decades and several hundred CML patients. I've seen them grow up and grow older, and so they've come on this journey with us, and I think that's a really important part, that they see the progress that we're making and that we see that their lives are impacted by that.
My area of research is in immunisation, particularly vaccinology, which is really understanding vaccines from clinical trials right through to when you implement a vaccine into the population and measuring how effective it is. Meningococcal disease is a killer and it kills young people, babies and adolescents, but its consequences are devastating. So about 1 in 10 children will die if they get the infection, and about 4 out of 10 will end up with disability. So my research is really focused on looking at how we can prevent meningococcal disease through vaccination. And we had the opportunity here in South Australia to undertake a study to look at whether the vaccine has a herd immunity impact as well. We didn't find a herd immunity impact in that study, but we had some really exciting findings that have now led on to the next stage. Although it didn't reduce carrying that bug in the throat in young people, it did have an impact reducing the strains that don't cause disease but are very closely related to the gonococcus. Our new project in the Northern Territory is looking at whether the MenB vaccine actually provides cross protection against gonorrhea as well as meningococcal disease. I love the idea of generating the evidence that can make really good public health policy, because then you can make changes that impact the whole population's health. And I really think in South Australia we have a fantastic opportunity here. We're just the right sort of size population to do these really large clinical trials that are really robust and give really strong evidence then to be able to make good immunisation policy decisions. I'm absolutely passionate about improving immunisation. It's just the best way to reduce disease burden and deaths around the world. But it's also really important that we measure how effective vaccines are once you introduce them into a population program.
My research focused on the energy storage and conversion. So we developed a new electrocatalyst for water splitting, produce hydrogen. In energy storage study, so we developed the new battery technology. They're much cheaper and safer than the lithium battery. So in our research, we develop aqueous battery. So it means we use aqueous electrolytes to replace organic electrolytes. This new battery is safer, is much cheaper. The price about 1/10 of a lithium battery. Our research target is achieve carbon neutral. So we use solar energy, so water and air only to produce hydrogen and ammonia. That's a process never involve any carbon. This research area is a very hot topic in the world. So South Australia is keen to develop a hydrogen economic. South Australia built a plant in the north of state to develop hydrogen production technology and transfer the hydrogen to ammonia, because it's very difficult to transfer hydrogen to our sea directly, so we must transfer to ammonia. The ammonia is very easy to send to our seas. Every day actually, so I walk from my home to university and we pass Botanic Garden, the park. Yeah, so it's no traffic problem. So very close. It's I enjoy the walking every day.
How absolutely amazing. I do not know how you pick one winner out of those incredible finalists, but that had to be done. And the winner of the 2021 South Australian Scientists of the Year is Professor Shuzhong Jiao. The Professor's incredible work in materials science for energy conversion and storage technology successfully brings together materials engineering, physical chemistry, electrochemistry and quantum chemistry. Absolutely incredible, and I can tell you without a doubt he was not expecting that, because I saw his jaw drop over there. It was wonderful to see. How wonderful. Please, Professor, come and say a few words. Do you want to hold that one for you?
I never think I can get this award today. So two reasons. The first one, I think another two candidates is very strong. The second, in last 3 weeks, I never get any email from an organizer. So I think I'm out. But bigger problem is, when I come here today, I'm not permitted to come in because I cannot show, certificate of vaccination. It's nobody told me I need to prepare that, document. Nobody told me I need to prepare speech today. I want to thank my university first. My university give me very strong support to my research. The second, I would like to thank my colleagues and students. Without their, the support and the contribution, it's impossible for me, get this award. I would like to thank my wife, Dr. Chiu Hong Hu. She permit me, stay in my office and the lab, even in the weekend and the holiday. But I often tell her, so we discuss each other, nobody can easily successful. So maybe this reason she, permit to work very hard in my university. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for organizer. Thank you for selective committee gave me this award. Thank you very much.
There you go. I told you he was surprised. He even forgot he'd won the trophy. So it's got it now and it's reunited. So that wraps it up. What an incredible evening. And this year, especially where some minority sectors of society push back against science, I cannot tell you the joy that it's been to be a part of this celebration tonight. Thank you so much for all of your work, and I'm saying that on behalf of so many people, and all of your research, and I cannot wait to celebrate again in another year's time as we find out all the other incredible steps that will be taken forward in the science community, the education community and research community, and innovation as well. So I hope everybody's enjoyed the evening. Really, thank you again to the sponsors and supporters that can put this on, including our platinum sponsors in the Commonwealth Bank, Telstra and Novatech, also our gold sponsor at the University of Adelaide. Once everybody's finished their meal, but if I finish here, if I could get all winners, please, to move over to the photo wall just over there. We'll get some more photos. Bring your trophies with you if you can, with Her Excellency, Minister Pisoni, Caroline Macmillan and Andrew Nunn. Other than that, you're free to stay. Enjoy each other's company, enjoy the networking, enjoy the sponsors' products responsibly, okay, and get home very, very safe. In the meantime, congratulations to everybody and thank you very much for a wonderful evening. Thanks.
I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Old friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't